Hey guys, what's the crack? Hope you're all keeping well. Welcome back to my channel. Anyway, WWE Summerslam is officially in the books, night 1 and night 2, so I thought I would do a little video to do a quick review and whack my knee off the table. But go through these results quickly, so I'm not just going to take a long time going over them. It was an alright event. Night 2 was definitely better than night 1, even though night 1 was actually, on paper was a better, night for matches. Night 2 definitely was the superior night for the entertainment and what happened. Uh, Again, like WrestleMania, we got clumped with ad breaks and sponsorships everywhere. We even had sponsors appearing, in match celebrations, which really pissed me off. Um, but yeah, night 1, it was all right. It was main evented by I said this on Twitter, a very lackluster Hell in a Cell. Um, Night 2, we got some return. We got a return. We got new champions, and we got a great main event. So I'm gonna go through these results, and we'll talk about what happened. So we kicked off night 1. We kicked off with the women's championship match: Liv Morgan, Iyo Sky. This match went 13 minutes 35 seconds. So certainly they got a lot longer than Liv and Stephanie got at WrestleMania. Um, I had predicted Iyo to win just simply because the fact that at the moment they had nothing for Liv to do. She hadn't defended the title since Mania, and I thought, with Iyo as champion, there's more, opportunities for different matches, against likes of Roxanne, Liv, Lyra. At the moment with Liv as champion, I don't really see anyone on the Raw roster who can battle her because she's not going to fight Raquel. She's not going to battle Roxanne at the moment. The only person she can really go against is Iyo. Bailey's not there. We don't know what's happened to her. Becky's gone. AJ's gone. I mean, now that Sol Ruka has dropped the Intercontinental title, is there a chance now that she will challenge Liv? I don't know if she's ready for that. But this was a good opening match, very back and forth. We got some good spots from Iyo and Liv. We got a little interference from Roxanne and Raquel. Iyo dealt with them. And Liv countered Io's, moonsault, hit her moves, got the win. I was surprised. I thought Iyo was going to win, but Liv got it, and it was a very good match. I'd say a lot better than Liv and Stephanie, which is disappointing because obviously that was WrestleMania, and they only got like a few minutes to compete in that one. But this was a very good opening match, and we will see now in the coming weeks where Liv and Iyo go from here. Was as I say I was, but at this point Iyo didn't win. Obviously she won Queen of the Ring and Oba won King of the Ring. Oba waived his opportunity to challenge for the title, and Iyo lost her chance, so pretty much made the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments irrelevant. So good match to start off with. Next, we got the LA Knight solo Royce Keys versus the Bloodline. Again, as I said, freaking sponsorship. This match was sponsored by Gears of War. So much so that we had the Usos and Jacob Fatu come out to Gears of War you know, entrance, you know, attire, and there was Gears of War figures and everything around the stage. I was just like, Jesus Christ. Jacob Fatu had a Gears of War symbol on his werewolf mask. Oh god! Like at first, I didn't mind when they were putting sponsors on like the ring mat. You know, obviously, yes, that is the sacred thing, and Vince McMahon would have never had it, but obviously different times. But now it's plastered fucking everywhere. These sponsorships, they have them on tables, they have them on chairs. This was a good match. We got a spot where Solo had knocked Jay down, and then he paused and he like looked into the camera and did Jay's thing of trying to run back the music, so he got the crowd up to start yeeting. Jay got pissed off. Yep, a good back and forth match. I had thought that the Bloodline was going to win this match, but we got the finish of the Usos were setting up for the 1 day Solo. Samoan spiked not Jimmy, and LA Knight was able to hit his finisher and pin Jay. So they got the win. Good moment for Knight, Solo, and Royce Keys. I'm curious to see where they go next. I'm hoping, obviously they've got Money in the Bank. It's been moved now to October. This has to be the year that LA Knight wins Money in the Bank. If they don't do it this year, then they're never going to push LA Knight for a world title run, or at least a main title run. Triple H was talking post show night one about if the wrestlers are over with the crowd and they're over and they can get over by themselves, then they will get the push that they want. How many years has LA Knight been over? And year after year he hasn't got that push. So I'd say this year with Money in the Bank, I would have LA Knight win the briefcase, and at least you'll actually get some good moments out of it, because you'll always have Knight doing segments where he's teasing the cash in, or he's cutting promos about who he's going to cash in on, and nobody's safe, and hopefully he will get a title run, even if it's like for 1 or 2 months. Just give him a freaking shot with the title. But yeah, this is a good match. This went 11 minutes. Again, we had ad breaks between each match. We had plugs for different sponsors. We had plugs for the Unreal series and merchandise store. I was just, Jesus, miss the days of like the old pay-per-views where you would have had like maybe 8 matches on the pay-per-view, and no interruptions, no freaking ad breaks. It was just flow right through, get a few backstage segments and get into each match. Next up we got Gunther versus Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis coming out to Oasis. I never thought we'd see or hear an Oasis song at a WWE event, but Nick Aldis came out to Oasis. This match started off good. Obviously Gunther immediately got a few moves in, started boasting, left the ring, got up on the announce table, started, boasting, that he was more superior than Aldis. Got back in the ring, he and Aldis went back and forth. Aldis kept trying to lock in his submission, which was the Kingsland Cloverleaf. They were I think they were having some difficulty trying to pronounce it on commentary. I think Michael Cole called it the King's Inn or King's Ling or some. But yeah, it was a good back and forth match. There was a point where I thought that Aldis was going to get the win. He had the cloverleaf locked on Gunther. He had pulled him to the center of the ring. I had locked in, but Gunther got the ropes. Gunther got the sleeper on. Aldis fought back, and you thought maybe there's a moment where he's going to counter and maybe get like a roll up and something, but nope. Gunther locked in the sleeper, and Aldis tapped out. Thankfully, unlike John Cena, he wasn't smiling when he tapped out. And there was a slight bit of acknowledgement after the match where they didn't shake hands or anything, but Gunther was like sitting outside the ring, and he was like saying to the fans or to the camera, he says, that was tougher than I expected. That was a more challenging battle than I thought. So it was a bit of acknowledgement to say that it wasn't a squash. He gave as good as he got. After the match, Mickie James and Aldis' son, was there a daughter too? I can't remember. They come into the ring, for a moment where the fans were cheering for Aldis and chanting, "You still got it." I don't think he ever lost it. I mean, he's only, what age is Aldis? See, late 30s? I mean, I thought this would be the start of maybe Aldis getting a run in the ring, but apparently backstage after the show or during the show, he had presented Triple H with his resignation letter. Triple H tore it up and reinstated him as the general manager for SmackDown. So Aldis is back as the GM. I thought this would have been, the start of maybe Aldis having a run as a wrestler, and we could have got either Adam Pearce running both shows, or maybe they could have got William Regal to come in as temporary GM for a time. But yeah, it was a good moment and the right result. Gunther got the win. Aldis got his in-ring WWE match at SummerSlam. This match went 11 minutes 40 seconds. I feel like it could have went longer, maybe 15 minutes. It was a good back and forth, but then it felt like it ended very quickly, and that is a recurring thing for several of the matches on this event. That they started off good, and then it was like a rush to the finish. Next up, we got the 6-woman tag match between Fatal Influence and the Bellas and Paige. This was an alright match. It didn't really sound like the crowd was into it too much. They did a spot at one point in the match where they took out Brie, and she had been slammed into the steel steps, and then Jessie Jane had done like I don't know if it was a drop kick or cannonball, but whatever it was, it injured Brie, and for the rest of the match she was nursing a shoulder injury, and even after the match she couldn't move her shoulder. We got a good performance from Nikki and Paige, and we got the ending with Paige getting pinned. So Fatal Influence won the match. Good moment for them. Their first win on a major PLE. After the match, I was hoping that we were going to get something. I was hoping along the lines of Paige turning heel, that maybe because, she got pinned and, the Bellas didn't break up the pin or whatever, or, because maybe Brie was injured, she was going to, turn heel and thing, but we got the Bellas turn heel, or at least Nikki turned heel because Brie couldn't move, she could only kick. So the Bellas turned heel, Nikki attacked Paige, took her out, said into the camera, this is what happens when you take my spot. Even though the Bellas were the ones that recruited Paige because Nikki was injured and now Brie's injured. So, honestly, I would have changed that ending or called an audible if it was realised that Brie was seriously injured with her shoulder. I would have had them call an audible and have Paige be the one to turn heel and attack Nikki, and gently attack Brie. So because I've said before, as I said in my predictions, Paige is so great as a heel, and we just come off Nikki Bella as having a heel turn. She turned the face again whenever Brie returned, so now we're back to, the Bellas as heels, or at least Nikki, because Brie is going to be out. If this shoulder injury is bad, I don't know what's going to happen then. I suspected, like, before we knew about Brie's injury, I suspected that we were going to be setting up a match maybe with the Bellas versus Paige and a returning AJ, but I guess now we have to wait and see what happens with Brie. Is this just going to be a temporary knock, or is she going to be out indefinitely? I definitely looked for, like, from the replays I'd seen on social media, it definitely looked like whatever the move, whenever she hit the steel steps, I don't know where it was a dislocation or something, but she was holding her shoulder for the rest of the match. So this match went 7 minutes 30 seconds. Next we got the co-main event, which was the WWE title match. So it was announced before the show that the Hell in a Cell match was going to main event. I don't know if that was officially the plan coming in, or if it was changed at the last on the day, at the last moment, because Punk made a reference on the post show about some people obviously have details in their contract that they have to close a show or something. This was a very good match. Sponsored by Street Fighter. Cody, obviously, because he's playing Gal in the Street Fighter movie, he was dressed in his Gal, hairdo, on his American Nightmare helmet. Punk came out to a sort of green. I can't remember what they said. They said something about it was. It was commemorate 20 years in wrestling or something. Somebody made a reference on social media that it looked like Cody Rhodes' attire from his first match in WWE, because he was wearing like green trunks and thing, but I think it was something to do with paying homage to some of it was Punk's 20 years in WWE, or 20 years in wrestling. But yeah, I think the crowd was more in favor of Punk. There were some, let's go Cody, let's go Punk chants back and forth. It was a good match. Where'd this one go? This one went 30 minutes 10 seconds. Uh, they did spots in the match where Cody was favoring his arm and shoulder. Then they did a spot where Punk had injured his leg and he was favoring things. So we had Cody with an injured, arm, and Punk with an injured leg. They did a spot where Punk dived from the top rope onto the announce table. Cody moved and Punk, literally landed feet first on the table and flipped over. So they did that to try and sell the leg injury more. They did a spot where Punk tried to hit a moonsault, and honestly, it looked more like a reverse Twisted Bliss, because I don't know what it was. Like, he didn't flip the normal way. He sort of flipped sideways and backwards, but he missed Cody. But Cody, you know, acted like he caught him in the head. But I don't think I was needed in the match. It just looked very awkward. We got a few false finishes. The ref got taken out with a Cody cutter. Orton returned. He came through the crowd. I wasn't sure who he was going to attack, but he came into the ring, dropped Cody with an RKO. Punk returned, dropped Cody with the GTS. Referee came to. Punk won the match. So the first match in the Cody and Punk feud goes to Punk with interference. I'm assuming we will get more matches between Punk and Cody going forward. Possibly even WrestleMania next year. Obviously now Orton is back, so I'm assuming Cody will be looking to get payback on Orton. And obviously after the events of the night 2, Punk has a new challenger. But I'd say it was a good match. There's not really much I can fault about it. We had some good spots. And it was good to see Orton back. We haven't seen him since WrestleMania, since he, punted Cody in the head and then just completely disappeared off television. But yeah, right result. Punk winning, as I said in my predictions. For now, keep Cody away from the title. Cody is always better when he is chasing. One thing I'll say is that with Orton back now and obviously costing Cody the match, I don't think we're going to be seeing Cody turn heel anytime soon. So we'll see where that goes. I don't know what they have coming up, whether it's WrestlePalooza in September or if they're naming another event, but I would assume that Cody and Orton will be continuing their feud from WrestleMania in that match. So this leaves us with the main event, which was the Hell in a Cell, which went 11 minutes 40 seconds for a Hell in a Cell match. The main event of Night 1 SummerSlam. Honestly, the people I feel sorry for were the people that had to put this cell together for the second time, because it was put together on Monday night last week on Raw. And for the people who paid the maximum price for tickets to come and see a Hell in a Cell match at SummerSlam, because this was a Hell in a Cell match in name only. This, for me, is one of the worst Hell in a Cell matches in the history of WWE. I've seen people saying online that the disqualification result between Seth Rollins and The Fiend was worse. That was a worse result, obviously because of the disqualification, but the brutality in that match which led to the disqualification, I would say was better than what we got in this match. Basically, the match kicks off and Oba and Brock go at it. They immediately find themselves outside the ring. Oba sets up a table, throws Brock into the table. They're back in the ring. Brock uses the steel steps to knock Oba down. He starts hitting Oba with a steel chair. He tries to hit the F5 several times. Oba counters. Brock pulls the ring mat up, exposing the beams below. He hits Oba with a tombstone onto the beams. Oba immediately kicks out a 2. Oba pounces up in a sort of hulking up way, but it was mixed with like Orton's, crouching, pose where he's like, waiting for the RKO. So, Brock went to grab the steel chair again. Oba punched the chair out of Brock's hands. And I don't understand. I don't know what way this was supposed to go. It looked like Oba was supposed to hit his finisher on Brock on the exposed ring, but it looked like whatever happened at the end, they changed it, or Brock called an audible to say no. So Oba hit his finisher on just the corner of the ring, the normal part, and 1, 2, 3 pin Brock in 11 minutes 40 seconds. And I was sitting there watching. I was like, "Fuck, it's over." Right? Jesus. Like, I thought that this should have gone at least 20 minutes. 15 is a stretch, but 20 minutes. And the cell was not used once. Nothing. Nobody, got their opponent and grind their face or their head against the cage. They didn't lift their opponent up, slam them into the cell. We didn't get a spot where part of the cell was broken or the door was broken. It was, I had said on social media, and I had said this weeks ago, I think after Clash in Italy, if they were going to do a Oba and Lesnar third match, have it as a last man standing, so that's the best way to end it, where, we can decide who is the last man. And especially for this match where they did the spot where Brock tombstoned Oba on the exposed beams, that would have been a good moment for a last man standing match, to have, Brock tombstone him on the wood, and you think, oh, that's it, and Oba beats the 10 count to come back and then beat Brock. That would have worked out better, instead of the cell was just pointless. It was absolutely pointless. So that was, honestly, I was a crap ending to night one, a crap ending to the feud between Brock and Oba. Oba gets a win after the match. Brock, hugged him, raised his hand, and got the microphone and said that Oba is the future, I'm the past, and give Oba his moment. But yeah, a very dull ending, and honestly, they should have had the WWE title match main event if that was how they were going to close the show, with 11-minute brawl inside a cell. It didn't come into a factor. So that leaves us night two. Night two, we kicked off with the Finn Balor Sami Zayn match. Nick Aldis comes out, reinstated as the SmackDown GM, and says that to basically show that there's no bias or there's no hard feelings. He is going to add to this match, and so he adds Gunther to the match. Gunther comes out, shakes Nick Aldis' hand. Sami Zayn's cracking up in the ring. The match is about to start. Nick Aldis once again interrupts to say that he was adding to the match. He never said it was just going to be one addition. So Kevin Owens' music plays. The crowd goes absolutely nuts. Sami is just left shocked in the ring. Kevin Owens returns. Match kicks off and he goes straight after Balor and Gunther, just laying in boots and fists. Sami still stood like a statue in the corner, just shocked. Kevin was hitting moves everywhere, like he was hitting cannonballs. He, they're outside the ring. He climbed the top rope, did a swanton onto outside. I was like, jeez. I was watching. I was like, fuck me. I says, he looks great in the ring, but can he just calm down? We just got him back in the ring. Can you slow down with the moves? Kevin gets back in the ring. Sami is finally, clicks out of his, stunned state. He walks up to Kevin in the center of the ring, and they hug. That was a great moment. The fans were cheering and clapping. He hugs Kevin, and then just like that, they go back and forth with the punches. It was like old times. So yeah, this was a very good match. It could have went a bit longer, 8 minutes 30 seconds for a Fatal 4-Way number one contenders match, where Kevin Owens returned. It could have went longer than 8 minutes, but the match ends with Kevin Owens hitting the stunner on Sami Zayn, and he pins Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens is a new number one contender, and I'm excited because if they do this right, I think CM Punk versus Kevin Owens for the WWE title will be possibly match of the year contender. If they do it right. Let them tell the story and let them go out there and work. And you could have a hell of a fucking match. I don't know where Sami goes at this. Gunther, they showed in a behind the scenes thing. Gunther was absolutely pissed off as he was being wheeled like the cart through the crowd. Sami, obviously, he's got the one that got pinned, but he was preparing for a one-on-one match, which ended up at the last second being turned into a Fatal 4-Way. So please keep those water bottles at a safe distance when Sami's around. I'm curious to see what they do with Finn as well, because obviously Finn on Smackdown had talked about, he always looks back at SummerSlam 2016 where he won the Universal title but then had to release it due to injury. So I'm curious to see what they do with him. So next match was Baron Corbin versus Trick Williams for the US title. I'm not too fussed on Baron's new music. I don't know why they couldn't just kept him with his original, Lone Wolf music. Lil Yachty was back. He introduced Trick Williams, and Lil Yachty got involved in this match at a point where Corbin had, shoved him to the ground, and then there was another spot where he had hit Corbin with his kendo stick. Another spot where Corbin was arguing with Lil Yachty on the apron. Trick Williams punched Corbin, who knocked into Lil Yachty, and fell into a table which for some reason was set up at ringside. I don't know why. But he didn't go through the table, he went over the table, and the table toppled on top of him. So obviously the referee's distracted with that, Trick is distracted. Corbin grabs the US title, which is all like fur from as a custom design for Trick Williams. He hits Trick with the title, hits his end of days finisher, and pins Trick Williams. So Baron Corbin has returned, and he has immediately captured the US title. I assume he will not be keeping the custom design, because it looks so stupid with him just standing there on the ramp holding the title, all this big white fur around the outline of the title. So yeah, this match went 9 minutes 5 seconds. Again, started off well, and then a sort of a rushed finish. I don't know. I swear it felt like, you know, they were told that they had the clear out early, so they were trying to, you know, rush every match to a finish. So curious to see what they go with Corbin next. Obviously, you have the likes of Carmelo Hayes and Ricky Saints, Ilya Dragunov, wherever the hell he is. Nakamura is another one. I don't know where he's disappeared to. And I don't know whether Trick Williams will be looking to recapture the US title, or if he'll be moving on to possibly looking at Money in the Bank and the WWE title, but we'll see. Next up was the ladder match for the interim women's title. They said during this match that Rhea Ripley is currently out indefinitely. So I don't know why they couldn't have just vacated the title. Obviously, they want to keep Rhea as a champion for whenever she does return, but if she's out indefinitely with no official confirmation of when she's going to return, I don't know why they couldn't just make the decision that, look, it's a shit situation, but you're hurt, you can't compete, you can't defend the title, we're going to vacate the title, and we're going to have this match, the women that compete for to become the new champion instead of just having an interim champion. We got a few spots in this match. Lash powerbomb Tiffany onto the ladder from the top rope. The ladder had been wedged underneath them in the corner. The sound that fucking made whenever Tiffany got slammed onto it, like she literally bounced off the ladder and onto the ground, and she started screaming. We got a spot immediately at the start of the match. Jade and Charlotte and me started battling outside before the match even started. We got a spot where Tiffany was climbing the ladder. Chelsea, who has sort of formed a bond with Tiffany and like a team, had came into the ring just as Tiffany was at the top of the ladder, and you know she was contemplating, and then she finally pushed the ladder over and knocked Tiffany over. So Tiffany had a bad night. Chelsea started to climb the ladder, and it looked like she was about to grab the title when Michin and B-Fab came out, and I was like, oh fuck. So they attacked Chelsea, and whatever happened, they attacked her, and she had got her leg caught in the rung of the ladder, so she was knocked out and hanging upside down on the ladder. They tried to help Jade to get up the ladder. Charlotte returned, took out all three members. Charlotte and Jade were then climbing the ladder trying to fight. They got knocked off. Tiffany and Lash were fighting on another ladder. They got knocked off, and then all of a sudden the camera cuts to Chelsea just hanging upside down. She's like, like sort of swings herself round to get back up. So she climbs the ladder and takes down the title. Great moment for Chelsea. Great fucking moment to see her win the title. It's disappointing that it's only the interim title. So it's basically, you know, I'll say, I don't know why they couldn't have just vacated the title and given Chelsea a moment of becoming the new women's champion. We'll see what happens. Obviously, when Rhea has to return, they'll have to have a match for the Undisputed Championship. Whether Chelsea is still a champion by then, I mean, Sami Zayn won the title and he only got 9 days, so Jesus, I wouldn't be surprised if they do a scenario where Chelsea defends the title on the next Smackdown and loses. But I'm hoping they give her this moment. I'm hoping that they will let her work more in the ring, because, you know, she does have her fun and, you know, comedy side, but she can work in the ring, and you've seen that outside WWE. So I'm hoping that they will give her this opportunity to show what she can do in the ring. And more importantly, a big FU to Michael Hayes, who said in an Unreal episode that Chelsea Green was never on the same level as a Charlotte or a Rhea Ripley or anything, and she was only somebody who was in those matches to, you know, take the fall and lose. So I think she even said on the post show that she dedicated this match to Michael Hayes. So good on her. That's a good, you know, up yours to him for his comments and his outdated view. You can tell why WWE is currently in the toilet with creative wise, while he and Bruce Pritchard are on the damn creative team. But yeah, this match went 13 minutes 5 seconds. Could have went a bit longer as a ladder match, but a great moment for Chelsea to get the win, and we'll see what happens going forward. Next match was the Human Monies on a pole between Danhausen and the AAA World Champion Dom Mysterio. I'm not going to bother spend any time discussing this. It was just a comedy routine and honestly an embarrassing moment for AAA and Dominic Mysterio, where he lost to Danhausen at SummerSlam in a segment that involved Joe Hendry and the Minihausens and JD McDonough getting taken out by the Minihausens, and Dom getting, you know, pyro exploding off the corner turnbuckle as he tries to climb up in the corner. Danhausen wins. I don't know. Each their own. Danhausen does have his comedy moments in the backstage segments, but I don't think he should be in the ring, especially not on SummerSlam when you look at the caliber of people who didn't have a match at SummerSlam. Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, I know Logan's injured, Ricky Saints, Carmelo Hayes, Shinsuke Nakamura, Matt Cardona, Bailey, Lyra Valkyria, Rusev, Ethan Page. You know, I don't know. This match only went 6 minutes 50 seconds. It shouldn't even been on the card. You know, this could have been a match on the kickoff show or a match on Raw instead of SummerSlam. Next up, we got the Intercontinental title match between Chad Gable and Penta. A good match, but it only went 11 minutes 10 seconds. I had expected this match to go at least 20 minutes. For Penta and Chad Gable to get 11 minutes to compete for the Intercontinental title is bad. It's very bad. It was a very good match. Chad was able to get the win by submission. A very emotional moment. You know, you could see him sitting in the corner. He was emotional. His family were celebrating at ringside. And this next moment, this next moment absolutely fucked me off. Absolutely. I mean, I don't know how Chad felt about it himself. If it was me, I would have been saying, this is fucking bullshit. And I'm pissed off that Triple H would allow this to happen on SummerSlam for this moment. So, Chad Gable has completed his journey that started with him trying to win his first singles title in WWE. He started this quest after losing to Penta on his debut, where he decided to, create the character of El Grande Americano to, embarrass and disrespect Lucha Libre to the point where he got injured and Kaiser took over the mantle. Chad obviously busted his ass to get back and finish the story of the El Grande Americano gimmick, where he and Kaiser put on a over 30-minute incredible match in AAA for Mask vs. Mask. And you see over the past few weeks, Chad Gable sort of getting his redemption of, showing his respect for the Lucha Libre tradition, building bridges with the people he wronged, and then winning the match, the gauntlet, to become the number one contender, to finish his journey and finally capture the Intercontinental title. He goes to SummerSlam. He beats Penta in a great match. His family come into the ring to celebrate this moment of him in his hometown winning the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam, a prestigious title. He's standing there, he's emotional, his family's emotional. He's on the microphone and he says, "My name is Chad Gable. I was raised in Minnesota and I can now say that I am the Intercontinental title champion." At the same time, we have some guy in a fucking sponsor mask, a dog, I don't know, it was a pit bull or a bulldog, whatever the hell it was. He gets up on the ring. He hands some product to Chad Gable, some fucking root beer thing. I'm not going to mention the name of it. He hands 2 cans to Gable. Gable's standing there with his family, emotional moment. He's trying to open the cans and then he's trying to down the drink while this guy in a fucking sponsorship mask is jumping up on the rope and celebrating like he's won the fucking match. And then you have like the sponsorship come on the screen and Michael Cole's on commentary plugging the fucking sponsor. I mean, what the fuck is going on with this company? Seriously. How fucking dare they do that moment? That moment for Chad and his family where he's fucking just won his first singles title in WWE at SummerSlam. The Intercontinental title. At SummerSlam. In his home fucking town. He's in the ring. He's emotional. His family are in there celebrating. You could even see the look on his kid's face when the guy jumped up. They didn't know what the hell was going on. That was absolutely fucking disgusting moment for his title celebration with his family to be ruined by some dickhead in a fucking sponsorship. I don't know why the hell Triple H or whoever the hell, obviously TKO wanted the fucking sponsor there because they fucking love their product placement, but I don't know. I understand how someone, a veteran of the ring like Triple H, how he would allow that moment. Like how he could say, alright, I'm going to allow that to happen. I'm going to allow this to happen to Chad Gable in his hometown for this moment. I'm going to allow some guy to jump up on the fucking ring who has no involvement in wrestling, has no involvement in this match, and he's going to interfere in this fucking moment for Chad and his family while he's trying to celebrate finally finishing a quest that he has busted his fucking ass to do. That is fucking bullshit. This company fucking pisses me off. TKO, they're fucking scum. Ari Emanuel, he doesn't give a fuck about wrestling. He doesn't give a shit. He just cares about fucking making his money. And whoever okayed that, fuck them. If it was Triple H, shame on him. Shame on him as a fucking veteran of this company, as a veteran of the ring, and as the lead booker, CEO, wherever the hell you want to call it. Him and Nick Khan, the fact they even okayed this is a fucking disgrace. The fact, and even as I said, 11 fucking minutes, you to send Chad Gable and Penta out there for 11 minutes in what was the co-main event of Night 2 of SummerSlam. After a shit Night 1, you send them out there to compete for 11 minutes when they can give so much fucking more, and then to have that fucking moment. I couldn't believe it. I thought I had to rewind the show to see what actually happened. I thought it was somebody coming up to attack Chad Gable after the match and show a reveal or something. The fact then that it was some guy jumping up, he was jumping up on the fucking ropes and he was like trying to get the crowd, and even the crowd were fucking pissed off. And it ruined the whole fucking moment. It's bad enough that we have to see all this sponsorship crap all over the WWE now. It's on. I don't mind if you have the odd sponsor on the ring mat. I don't mind that. You're there to watch the wrestlers, not the fucking ring mat. But you have sponsors on everything. You have sponsors on the tables. You have sponsors on the chairs. You have sponsors on the fucking corner turnbuckles. You have sponsors on the security walls. You have sponsors on the entrances. You have sponsors on the wrestler's attire. You've got sponsors now interfering in fucking match celebrations. What's next? Seriously, what is next? Are we going to do a scenario now in matches where the referee calls a timeout so they can plug a fucking sponsor? That fucked me off. That honestly fucked me off. I know wrestling's fake. Yes, I know it's entertainment. But when you're watching the event live and you lose yourself in that moment where Chad Gable has finally achieved his dream. He's won the Intercontinental title in a match that should have went longer. And you even get the ending where Penta himself takes the title and straps it around Chad Gable and raises his hand. Then you have his family, his wife, his children, his parents, his father wearing a t-shirt saying Chad Gable's biggest fan. And they're in the ring celebrating this moment, and he's emotional, and then he has to stop the celebration to plug a fucking sponsor with some dick in a fucking dog mascot friggin' hat or helmet friggin' bouncing up on the ring. It doesn't belong in WWE. It doesn't belong in WWE matches. If you want to plug your sponsors before the event. Midway through the event, take a fucking break to say we're going to go and talk to our to our team, and in the kickoff box up in the box. Let friggin' Joe Tessitore and Big E and Thing plug that. Let friggin' Booker T on the WWE radio that they've now acquired, let them plug that. But keep this shit out of the ring. Keep it out of the fucking matches. So that's my rant about that. It pissed me off. And I know I'm not the only one, because I've seen a lot of people on social media, talk on Twitter and everything, saying, was anyone else raging or upset about that freaking product placement and Chad's moment? It does not belong. And if Triple H himself okayed that spot, then fuck him. That brings us to the main event. And even this needed a fucking celebrity endorsement. One of the NFL Viking players, Minnesota Vikings, whatever the hell they are, the guy who was at Saturday night's main event with Roman Reigns, who got the custom title, he was on the announce table and he was trying to beg everybody out for the main event. Trying to think, first of all, it's WWE SummerSlam. It's been going for a lot of fucking decades. It does not need some non-wrestling person to big up the main event, especially one between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Okay, just sit in the crowd with the rest of the fans and let the fucking professionals do their fucking job. But even this moment, they must have got mixed up, because they started to play the Shield music as he was standing there. So the sound guy must have fucking got mixed up in the moment, because they immediately knew their mistake and changed it to the SummerSlam theme music. We got the vignette of Roman and Seth's history. Seth made his entrance. First, I'll start off with the Shield music, which is just fucking played, so it ruined that spot. Then he transitioned and came out in his, costume. I don't know what he was trying to represent. It was like very colourful. Roman came out. They did a spot at the start of the match where Seth had a vest, like a Shield vest, and he was saying to Roman, for old time's sake, he wanted to put a vest on. Roman was just like stone faced. So this was a very, very good match. Back and forth. The referee let them go at it. They were fighting in the crowd, fighting outside. We got a shield powerbomb from Roman to Seth through one table. Then he tried to do it the second time. Seth countered. Then he powerbombed Roman through the announce table. Again, very back and forth. You felt like Roman was always going to win because they've always been building it up as that Roman's never beaten Seth. And at the moment, they want to keep the title on Roman until they're building up Oba to take the title. But just the back and forth for this, there was several times where you're like, is Seth going to win? Because, Roman, there were spots where Roman kept talking down to Seth and saying, this is why you're always going to be number 2. I'm going to be number 1. You can't be number 1. You're not on my level. And I was like, are they going to do a twist here where fucking Seth actually wins? But this match went 33 minutes 25 seconds. It had a good finish where the referee got taken out with a spear, so he was out for about 6 or 7 minutes. Seth brought a chair into the ring, and it was a callback to the night the Shield broke up. But you could see Roman, he was like sort of looking at the screen, so he knew what was coming. So he stopped Seth before he used a chair. So then we had a reversal where Seth has his back to Roman. He's sort of trying to get back up. Roman picks up the chair, and you see Seth is kind of, he can sort of see it, but I think he's sort of willing that he's telling Roman, come on. But Roman ends up throwing the chair away, and, Seth turns around and, they say, no, I don't need that. We're going to finish this thing. So they're brawling again, back and forth. Seth hits a spear on Roman. Roman, at another point, hits a curb stomp on Seth, hits him with 2 spears, and then sets up for the finale of, Seth's trying to get to his knees. He's looking at Roman. Roman, does the pose before hitting the final spear. The referee finally quickly comes into the ring, and Roman gets the victory. 1, 2, 3. I said very good match to close night 2 and to close the event. Both men after the match are sitting in either corner facing each other, and Roman finally gets to his feet, stands in the center of the ring. At first you thought he was going to, put the one up to celebrate, but he actually does the old Shield fist bump. So he's holding his arm out, and at the same time Seth gets to his feet, but he also has like one of the old Shield like Hounds of Justice masks, and he meets Roman in the center, places the mask between them on the mat. I didn't know whether that was to signify just the end of the Shield, or if it was to represent Moxley, Dean Ambrose, as the third member, because they did make reference to him during the match. They hit several of Dean Ambrose's moves to pay homage, and then Seth basically connects his fist with Roman's to end the show. So I say I don't know whether that was representing, right, that's it, the buried the hatchet, the Shield, all the history is done, or if it was the representative of the 3 brothers with the mask representing Moxley. But yeah, that was a good ending to the event. Roman has finally done what he needed to do. He has beat Seth, and he has beat Seth 1-on-1, because Seth has always made the reference that Roman can't do anything by himself. So now he has finally beaten Seth 1-on-1 for the title in the main event of SummerSlam. So curious to see where we go next. Obviously, with Monday Night Raw coming up, I don't know if Roman is scheduled to appear. We'll see what comes next in terms of his next challenger. I don't think they're going to immediately go with Roman versus Oba. So we will see what happens next. Big Cass is meant to be debuting on Monday Night Raw, so we'll see what happens there. Liv retained her title, so we'll see what her next challenge is. But I say overall, night 2 was the superior show compared to night 1. That Hell in a Cell main event on night 1 was just pointless. Night 2, we got Kevin Owens returning and becoming the number 1 contender. Chelsea won the title. Chad won the title. And Roman has finally beaten Seth. So, we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like. That'd be very much appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I shall see you again. If there are any big surprises on Raw, I might do a video to discuss everything that happens, but it's usually, the post event show. There's not really much that does happen. I'm trying to think what they have next. Do they have is it WrestlePalooza coming up next, or is it a Saturday Night main event coming up next? I don't know, but we'll see. Anyway, take care. I'll see you again.